We didn't mean to coordinate our outfits, by the way, but I would have been so happy if we walked in and you were wearing nude or white.
Yeah, we were like...
We didn't do it on purpose. We coordinated by mistake, right?
Oh, yeah, but you two were like...
Yeah, but then I was like, I said to Fiona when we were walking, I was like, Chuckie's wearing nude or white. You know how sick that'll be.
Oh yeah, you should have told me.
George,
we made a joke. In the morning I was like, should I message Chuckie and be like, what are you wearing?
Yeah, you should have done it. I would have switched up the whole vibe.
Yeah,
I didn't even train today though. I
didn't train today either.
I didn't either. Wow, this is crazy. All three of us didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't train?
No,
I've been training all week and my back has been in bits, so I was like, I needed morning off.
There's nothing worse.
There's actually really a body arriving, by the way.
Is it?
No,
is it on route?
I thought it was here.
So I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what I will do, because you might have missed it. Because I thought, you know what? The other day I was like, I'm just gonna tease the gram a little bit, like just a young bit in it, yeah.
In the hope that someone would reply.
Nah, I just thought like, because I think there's been a couple of people that have been like, oh, is it like, is it really happening? And I'm like, yeah, it's actually happening. So I gave them this.
I think I saw this.
Let me show you how I actually posted it, because this is important.
We need to see the caption.
Because obviously, you know, I've been on the gram saying the body's arriving, all this type of stuff and whatever, and people are actually messaging me sometimes about it. So
does it hold you accountable because you're putting it on the gram?
I'm holding myself accountable.
Yeah. Okay, it's giving magic vibes of the entrance.
You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit.
Fiona's body arrived so long ago. Her close friend is wearing that.
Both of you.
Do you know what? I'm actually happy at the moment. I've been like on job, because I've had like some stubborn kilos, like 3 or 4 kilos, just the last couple of years that I've just been there, that have just not shifted. And now I got into the swing of it, and I've lost like nearly 3 kilos and an inch off, more importantly, an inch off my waist, and I feel so much better. Like just that little difference. So, I can see it in my face. Like even when I take videos, I can see it in my face. Like,
okay.
Keeps you going as well.
But do you know who my nutritionist is?
Who?
I can't recommend them enough.
Who?
Here we go.
Hcpod.
Is it?
No, I'm not joking, Chuckie. Like, it's actually crazy. I take pictures of what I've eaten, I say what it is, and it breaks it down. He's like, and she's like, well done, babes. Like, you're really on track.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're on track for your protein goals today. Do you want some ideas of like a lunch?
I feel like I need to start building a relationship with
No,
you,
we go.
I only ask just one direct question. I don't.
Which is what?
Like I'll just be like,
right. Could you? Something.
Yeah.
If I need something, I'll just be like, oh, or could you just like, I'll just be asking for one thing and then that's it.
Well, you're not doing therapy with Hcpod yet.
I don't say thanks, huh?
You're not doing therapy with Hcpod yet.
No.
Because I'm telling you,
that's actually a real thing as well.
No, it is a real thing.
I know.
It's like, and it's actually, it will tell you, it'll be like, listen, maybe you're being a bit unreasonable because X, Y, Z, and then it'll be like, no, you're really valid, and it'll be like, you're
so wait, ChatGPT will tell you that you're being unreasonable.
Yeah, it will say like maybe it will give you like genuine feedback. Like and you can voice note as well, so you can go into detail. So I'll voice note.
You?
Yes.
Oh, that is hilarious.
It's crazy.
That is hilarious.
Let me just show you something, because God, I'm really embarrassing myself here. But let me show you something. So like I voice noted like the whole situation into ChatGPT. And I looked at, if I'd have typed this, it would have taken me hours.
No.
I've voiced this.
Is that what? Hey, wait 1 second.
So I voiced it that, and then it comes down to it.
It will type it out, but she'll see.
I'll speak it, and it will type it out, and then it reply. I'm not going to tell you exactly.
Is it accurate?
But this, bang average, like bang on point. Like, and there might be the odd mistake, but pretty much it gets the gist.
And it will get what you're saying.
Yeah. And then it goes, okay, well, first of all, thanks for such an honest and layered up.
Oh my God.
No, it is bad.
It's crazy. And it'll break it down into like where you're at, like what you need, like how can you frame this conversation. It's crazy.
This girl on TikTok put that she asked ChatGPT for like a reply or whatever to respond to a guy. And then at the end it said, is this alright? And then she copied the whole thing, and at the bottom it said, is this okay? Or whatever it was, and sent it to the guy. So it's obviously like ChatGPT drafted it.
No, do you know what the other thing is? If you're going to copy and paste from ChatGPT, like even in your emails and stuff, like when you're using it, you know how it does that double dash?
Yeah.
That's the ChatGPT giveaway. You need to delete the dashes, because they just, when someone sends me an email now and I can see them double dashes, I'm like, yeah, you didn't write this.
Yeah,
but it's funny as well. Sometimes, like, if you are having a debate with somebody or argument with somebody, sometimes you can tell when they have got information from somebody else. Or no, not information, but someone has told them what to say.
Yeah.
Because it's not...
This
like, it's not something that you would say.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, somebody's told you to say this, or you've got this from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I always let that fly though, whenever I sense that. By the way, I got 2 friends with me, by the way. One you might recognise, Antigoni.
Hello.
Fiola's here as well.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's my first time.
It's your first time.
No.
By the way, yeah, fun fact, and it might still happen one day, we were going to do a crime pod.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you should.
We're going to do one.
Yeah, because these two are proper, like crime
This
nerds.
is our bag.
This is our bag. Yeah.
I'm a bit more light.
Is it?
Yeah, me and Chuckie like to unwind and relax to a nice murder documentary.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That's how we really get our...
Yeah.
You know, how we relax.
I absolutely love going home at night or whenever I go home, getting on the sofa and watching some mad documentary or program of something based on a true story that is absolute smart. Do you know what I'm watching at the moment, actually? I'm watching, have you heard about The Good American Family?
See, is this on Netflix?
I think I've seen something about it on TikTok.
That's on Disney. But apparently it's based on a true story, though.
It is.
Is it, yeah? So basically, I don't know the ending. Yeah, put it on the screen, please. Basically, what it is about, from what I know, spoiler alert, but I'm going to try to not give it all away.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to say it and not give it away, so it's not too mad. Essentially, these parents, they adopt a girl. And then the mother suspects that the girl is actually not a young girl.
Oh,
she feels that the young girl is actually an adult.
How old is she? How old is she meant to be?
It's like the movie Orphan.
9 at the time.
Right, but does she look like 9?
Yeah.
Right.
Kinda. But there were certain things that were happening. I'll just give one couple things. Yeah. One, it was like the mum was saying that when the little girl went to the toilet, she saw pubic hair. So that was one thing. Then the other one was that like there was blood, like she was on her period and all this type of stuff.
But a 9-year-old could technically have early puberty.
Also, her mannerisms, the way that she was moving and whatever else. So the mum was like
suspicious.
Very, very, very suspicious that she wasn't. So they've gone through this whole thing and it's like...
Surely like a medical test or something could... I guess this is where it all comes into it. Yeah,
so I don't want to... Because I think you would enjoy it. So I don't want to give it away.
Sounds interesting, to be fair.
Huh?
It does.
I've not watched it, but I've seen this.
Yeah. It was like quite a big thing apparently. What's this, EA?
The synopsis.
Okay, what is it?
A couple of docs who they believe is an 8-year-old girl with a rare form of dwarfism.
That's it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, she had dwarfism. Yeah.
Isn't it like the movie Orphan? Have you guys seen that?
Where
the girl
Isn't that a horror?
Yeah, but I assume this girl is going to do some fucked up shit in this.
She's what? She's what?
She's going to do some fucked up shit, this girl, I assume, in this series.
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah,
okay, fine, we'll watch it.
Yeah,
Can we watch it together? Because I'll get scared.
I was scared that when I moved out, I was going to like not be able to watch these crime documentaries and stuff because I was like, I'm going to be too scared. But
you big up to new flat, by the way.
No.
New flat. Big up
big up new flats and that. Yeah, every time. Come on.
Big achievements.
But yeah, I was scared. I was like, how am I going to watch these now, like by myself? But like a true crime.
So I like when you tell me about them, and like, cause I find them interesting, but I don't actually want to watch it because I'll be able to sleep.
Oh, I can, and I follow court cases, so that's going to come up today.
Yeah.
But so I followed them heavily. You should do
this though. You should do this crime doc one.
Yeah.
This wasn't a real invite. We were slot-ins. I mean,
yeah. But you know what? We actually did. No, we'll make. Yeah, they did still. But it's all right though. Like we can make this a thing. Still.
We was having a debrief on FaceTime yesterday.
Let's make this a thing. Still, we could actually make it a thing.
Well, listen. The thing is, all the three of us do is chat anyway.
Yeah.
Like we were on FaceTime yesterday, and then Chuckie was there. We were like, "Oh, aren't you filming today?" Because we know the schedule, and and he was like, "Oh, like Poet couldn't come, blah." And we were like, "Oh, well, next time someone cancels, we'll come through." And he's like, "Tomorrow." Like, cool.
Yeah, we I think we talked about this before in the pod. Yeah, me and Poet were always like, we was talking about FaceTime relationships, like. Or friendships. So I was saying that there's certain people that I speak to, and more time when I speak to them, it's just a FaceTime thing.
Yeah.
But then there's like others that could just never just FaceTime out of the blue.
You
can't even just FaceTime out.
It's so audacious when somebody out of the blue just FaceTimes you. You're thinking, I literally
you can't just FaceTime me like that. That's mental. Right? And in fact, I might be able, there's certain times I could answer it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna answer it
Because you need to set a
I
precedent.
don't. Right then.
Don't think that you can cross this boundary. Like someone did that to me the other day, and I literally declined the call and called them back.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
It's like somebody that like is an acquaintance, but it was a work thing. But it was just a bit like, you could not just FaceTime me like that.
Yeah.
Like, we're calling to have a conversation about something a bit worky too. Like, this ain't a Zoom.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually don't think that's how to me. I don't think someone could do that because they'll actually won't answer that.
Say again?
No one's done that to me because I think they would know. Like,
Yeah,
You're not going to answer that.
no, I'm not going to answer that. Like, I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not. You know not to
I can
FaceTime
understand
me.
why someone might try it with me.
Yeah, because you'll do it. You'll FaceTime people.
I'm a bit more of a like social person, like in general.
Yeah,
I have to drag her at her house.
All right,
I'll FaceTime you.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
different.
Well,
I FaceTime you all the time.
The thing is, we have FaceTime relationship, but we also have dinner dates. Like, our dinners are like very important.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't done one for, when was the last one?
Couple months.
First time we met out, me and Tig asked Chuckie out for dinner.
Yeah, they did, you know.
We randomly we hadn't met him before. We were like, do you want to come to dinner?
This was like 5 years ago now.
Should we discuss that?
Yeah,
How this whole thing even happened in the first place?
Let's do it.
Come on.
So, we were following each other.
These two.
Yeah.
And she put me onto the podcast. She was like, oh, like, I watched this podcast, like, it's really good, like, you'd like it. So then I started watching it a bit as well.
I think it was, so I remember finding the pod because you had the receipts on.
Right.
I'd listened to the receipts for a really, really long
receipts.
time. And I was like, wait, this is a sick episode. This is a sick podcast. Like, what is this? And then I found it, followed you. Yeah. And then we were following each other for ages. And then when you were going through your breakup, I was like, listen to this podcast. It's so good. Like, you can get like a male perspective on things and da-da-da. And then you were like, wait, this is so good. And then, go on.
Then
you messaged me and said, I can't remember how you put it, but it was like, oh, like I have a friend that, like, not like that, but like, I just think you two would really get along.
Have a good conversation.
You'd have really good conversations on it.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, you should go on the pod. Like, you smash it.
So then, and usually, like, I'm funny, innit? Like, I will get certain messages or whatever, and like, I'll think in my head, oh, this is nice, or it's funny, or whatever. But then, like, I'm lost in the world, innit? So I'm just, I'll have it in my head, and then I'll just not respond. But this time, obviously, we're following each other. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, cool. Like, I will sort of keep it in mind. Then I started following you. Then you started following me. Now we're following each other.
Yeah.
And then then we obviously just started speaking, and it was like, oh, this what was it, a Greek restaurant? Had it already been?
So it was a restaurant that my mum had been working with for ages, and we were going for dinner. Like, I think. Yeah, it was just random. And then Fiona, was it me or you? Fiona was like, I think it was you. You're like, do you want to come for dinner with me and Tiggs?
I said, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not, innit? Why not? And
that was like 2021?
Yeah. And I just thought, nah, you two are actually just mad cool. And you know what the funny thing is? Obviously now you're in my life and I'm in yours. Yeah. So then there's like a point where it's like, a couple of the man them are like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, how come?
Yeah, like Chuckie comes to my house for like Greek Easter and stuff. Like, he's in. Like.
Yeah. But naturally as well, on a transparent one, people are skeptical, because they're like, right, like, what's this? Like, who are they? Like, what's this about? Kind of thing. And then so I'm like, no, like, these are, you know me. They know me.
Yeah.
These are know me. I'm sociable and I can chat to people, innit? I can go anywhere in the world and chat to people, innit? But when it comes to like letting people in, like, and like making friendships like that, it's not an easy thing for me to do. I'm quite you know what I mean? It's not really my thing like that. It's just me, because
more reserved.
I'm so much more reserved than people would think that I am. Yeah. So much more reserved. So I'm saying no. For me to say, like, for me to be hanging with them like that, trust me when I tell you, they are proper cool. Proper cool. And we're here today, all these a couple years later, or a few years later now. Yeah. It's like a real, you know what I mean?
We run a lot by you, like, especially when like stuff's going on that you want like male perspective.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear a lot.
He's the best.
No, he's
the best
everything.
for a male perspective.
So good.
Yeah. They do as well, though.
Yeah, we do. We return the favour with the female perspective.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, but you lot know a lot.
We know. I feel like we know everything.
Yeah, we know.
We know so much.
Yeah.
We were talking yesterday, and I was like, we need to ask Chuckie this, and then you called us.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I was like, that's so weird, because I was literally just thinking we need to ask Chuckie about this.
Yeah. You know, it's mad. When I hear people say that they can't or they won't, they refuse to have friends that are women or of the opposite sex, I always think that's a big shame.
Yeah.
I think it's a big shame, because like, for me personally, I've learned a lot from women and not just through relationships, but through friendships. Hearing, you know, like, my thing has always been this, like, common denominators. So if I've got people that I'm cool with and I hear the same thing pop up, then I know that there's something in that. And that might be something that I have not necessarily thought about. So I may have dated somebody, for example, and they've enlightened me about something, and I may not have taken it seriously. I'm just giving an example, But one of my friends have told me about a similar situation. Then someone else has told me, and I'm like, oh, right, this is a thing that I never really deeped like that. Do you
because
get what
also, when you're having a situation where you're dating somebody, there's also like emotions, ego, feelings all attached to the situation that might happen. Whereas when you're hearing a situation as an outsider, you can often see it like a little bit more with a clear perspective.
I also think as well, like, it does sort of speak to the fact that I get it, but boundaries and all those type of stuff, I understand that. But pushing that aside, there are definitely a lot of people, men in particular, who just don't like women like that, really.
100%.
Like, it's like, yo, I want to fuck, and I want to do like this, have this sort of level of relationship. But in terms of actual likability
as well,
actual likability, you can just see in the way that some people say certain things that they don't really like. It just sounds weird because they will say, no, of course I do, because to actually unpack that you don't like women looks weird on you.
So
you get what I'm saying? But that's a thing.
You see it in a lot of relationships where it's like, I think the best thing is when a relationship, there's a friendship and a foundation there as well. But you see a lot of like people who, their boys are their friends and their woman is their woman, and it's so separate. Like, they don't want to go out and have fun in their relationship. And I think that's kind of like a shame. Yeah, no, it is. Do you think you can spot the guys that don't like women?
Not
straight away, sometimes.
As a man, I can.
Yeah, as a man, it's probably easier, I think. I was just thinking, could I spot that? But it's actually can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they're out saying some outrageous things, then but a lot of the time they're not going to do that.
More than nuance, and you start to notice patterns and stuff.
Yeah. But remember, part of the pod that we had last time was like just unpacking the fact that now, I could be wrong in saying this, but now the man them are doing a few more things for women these days, whereas before there was like this strong era where that stopped happening. I actually always remember it was Steve Harvey that talked about it. Steve Harvey, comedian, a much older man, but he was saying that when he was younger, he was like, it was just commonly known, it was just normal that like when you're dressing up, like you're dressing to impress a woman,
right?
When you're putting on your shoes, you're cleaning your shoes because you know she's gonna look at your shoes and be like, yeah, like your shoes need to be clean. The way that you would dress, the way that you would do certain things, aftershave, all of that type of stuff, was for when you go outside, you would like to court a woman, meet a woman, whatever else, Whereas, and
that was masculine. That was seen as masculine.
100%. Yeah. But then it got to a point where it was like the man them was dressing for the man them.
Right.
So it was more for like a man them would go Selfridges and buy this, that, and the fourth. But they're more doing it so the man them can say, nah, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
But even like, you know, doing gentlemanly things, being chivalrous and whatever, there's like an era where it was almost like you were seen as like soft. Whereas the
simp.
Whereas actually I think it's like such a manly, masculine thing when a man is so like unapologetically like proud to be a gentleman. Yeah. And I think we're quite traditional girlies. Like I'm not here for like we don't need to be forcing this whole like, we need to be this, I don't want to say it in the wrong way, but you know what I mean? Like if I cook dinner, for example, for a man, I love it if he offers to wash up, but I don't actually want him to wash up. Okay. I don't actually get a kick out of sitting on the sofa like this while my mum does the dishes. I don't like that's actually, I'm quite like, you know, maybe call it like, maybe it's conditioning, maybe it's like my like Cypriot heritage, maybe it's a bit fresh, I don't know, but I would genuinely rather, I'm cool. I like that you offered, love that you offered, but I don't want you to do it. Like, I would genuinely do that because there's certain stereotypical manly roles that I want you to do. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't need you in the kitchen. I mean, nice that you offered, but I don't need you to do that. Right.
Like, if he does it though, it's not a thing, but you just don't need him to do it.
No, if he does it, like if you just get up and do it, then I'll be like, all right, sweet. I would probably say like, don't worry, like I've got it, chill.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like a guy to just sit back and just be so expectant though. I think that's that thing.
Right.
You know, I think it's the fact that you offer makes me be like, okay, cool, you're appreciating what I'm doing, but it's okay. You know what I mean?
How far did you you watched all of Married at First Sight, right? The most recent one. So do you remember the part where it was quite early on when a woman, because she's saying that she wanted a masculine man, all this type of stuff, whatever. Yeah. And then she was absolutely mortified that after dinner he washed up the dishes.
Oh my god!
How did you watch this?
She was absolutely,
well, actually annoyed.
She was living.
Did she cry? She cried a lot. She cried a lot. That lady. She was like, he was doing.
Yeah,
And everyone was like,
what?
But that's weird.
Everyone was like, girl. But
that's toxic femininity.
That's toxic femininity.
Yeah, that one there. That's because it's like, hold on a minute. How are you livid? Like, she's actually living.
No, some people, you're causing problems for us here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Don't go too far.
Causing problems.
Yeah.
I want to get into a couple of things very quickly. Yeah. Firstly, are you going to the moon or not?
If I've got the chance to go to the moon?
Yes.
I don't really think I need to.
I literally just said I don't need to go to the moon. I actually quite like Earth.
I hear it.
I
Feet
like
on the
Earth
ground.
quite a lot.
Also, all that training that I'm actually reading this book at the moment. God, I can't remember the name. It's about these astronauts. And one of the things is you lose a lot of muscle.
What, when you go
because you're not, there's no gravity, so they have to do like, do you know what I mean? So all this work that we've been doing in the gym, you'd come back like all like spindly. Like,
no way are we hip flossing 120 kilos
to go to the moon and lose it.
Come back with that back.
I hear it
come
loud.
back and I'm looking all skinny and like, no.
Also, the thing
is... Do you believe that they went?
I think they've gone now. I do think that the first one was a hoax.
Yeah.
Like, because there was loads of suspicious things around that.
Because, wait, Jeff Bezos' missus went,
Yeah.
But he didn't go, did he?
I think I'm missing something.
Did
what? Did someone go to the moon recently?
Not to the moon. They went to space.
They went to space with like Katy Perry, and it was like a whole controversy because it costed like $1 billion for this thing, for this
was there a
9-minute trip to the... It was like...
I think it was like 8.
It was like 8 strong women who have gone, but it costed like $1 billion for them to go to space for like 8 minutes and then just take content and then come down.
Wait,
and you're thinking,
happening?
What a waste of money.
But did any of the men them go like
I think
that?
it was just, I don't know. But this
like, obviously we know that there's like men and women that have gone to space. Of course we know that, right? But in this scenario where they just had like 9 or 6 women go into space, did they have something before, like a tester? Because, like, this seems to me...
they would have, definitely. But this was just like a big PR stunt.
It felt very guinea piggy to me.
I get it. Like, people that... I'm very much like, people should enjoy their money, do what you want with your money. But, like, $1 billion could literally, like, do so much...
For the world.
Or for just even some people. That is so pointless.
Yeah.
It's so pointless.
I'm not really playing around, like... Obviously, I'm mad curious, but I don't know if I'm playing around with the universe like
would you go?
Yeah.
Would you go?
I'm not really loving the idea of it. I think I would be shook. Like, if push come to shove, I would do it.
Yeah, if it was the apocalypse and we all had to get on the
of course. Yeah, 100%. I'm out of... potentially, because obviously, when we get up there, what am I doing if there's an apocalypse?
That's what I mean. What are we doing there?
But you'd like to think they have a plan.
And anyway, here's my cynicism. All right, we get to space,
I don't know.
We get to space and we're floating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's black.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? We get there, we're floating, it's black.
No oxygen.
There's nothing. So is that what we're doing?
I don't know.
Do you know what? I could go to Wandsworth and go in one of them things and float.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I hope we don't have to ever see what happens. Like, the apocalypse or that. Like, I'm okay to just watch the movies and not participate.
Yeah. Like, my curiosity is
I've got too many things I want to
go
do.
there. I'm happy for them to go get their content, take a little video and just show me. Sweet. My curiosity's gone now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The reason why I'm actually not fussed about going is because everywhere I would want to go is far. I can't get to Mars.
Right. But why
do you get what I'm saying? So what's the point? What's the point?
Why Mars?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying I can't get to another planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I know what you mean, yeah.
So what? I'm just gonna go up into space, float. It's black, and come back down.
I bet it would look amazing,
long.
like seeing the Earth from space. That probably would be like the most unbelievable
would
view
it,
you could see. I feel like it
would it look like a globe?
Exactly. Exactly.
I think it would look.
I could buy one in Denham.
No, because you can see. You can see. I need to get the name of this book, and I'll tell you. But they're talking. These astronauts are in space on this mission, and they can see like the sun rising on one side of the Earth and going down. It's like really. It probably is beautiful. Yeah. Like, imagine when you watch like a sunset or if you've ever been to like in the mountains, you see the mountain. It's an unbelievable feeling. Those views that you see.
Yeah.
So this kind of view, it probably would be phenomenal, but not enough for me to risk my life.
Yeah. Also, I hear it, and I'm definitely with you. But for jokes purposes, I'm in space, and I'm basically looking at my yard.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I want to go to Jupiter, and it's not going to happen.
You can't survive on Jupiter.
There you go. So why am I going to space?
Yeah, what is the point?
What's the point then?
Also, you've gone to the moon now. What is left? What are you going to do? You're going to come home back now and do what? Like, you've gone to the moon.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You've taken experiences to a whole new level now.
Yeah.
But go Spain isn't the same now.
Exactly.
Going like...
Well, Maldives. Okay.
I hear it. Maldives is dead now.
The Greek islands would still be worth it though.
Do you know what I do find hilarious though? In my mind, somebody woke up today, went on the landing and saw Chris Brown.
Yeah.
On the landing.
Oh my god!
What do you mean on the landing?
Somebody's woken up in prison.
Yeah. Oh.
Gone on the landing.
And then
So gone on their landing and seen BREEZY.
You know, what the fuck are you
Do you
doing?
think he'll do a performance for everyone?
Brother, do you know what? No, do you know what? I know.
You gotta make
just for
it.
context.
Sick music.
What song would you get him to do?
What will I get him to do?
Has he got one?
That's a
that
good question,
insinuates,
actually.
Like,
I'd probably get him to do.
you could do like a remix of "Locked Up" by Akon.
Yeah.
I just feel like a slow jam in prison amongst the man them
It's
is not going to be.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
Oh, you never know. Actually, it actually could really go off.
Maybe no bullshit. That song. Maybe I'll make him do that one.
Yeah.
But
Wow, yeah,
Can I
so
play?
true.
Excuse me, miss, in HMP is crazy.
excuse me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, just for context, so what actually happened here?
Sorry from across the south.
He bottled in 2023. In 2023, he was in Tape, London, and something happened. He bottled somebody.
Stop it.
Are these big
No.
celebrities not bored of clubs?
Huh?
Are they not bored of
Yeah,
clubs?
what are you doing to Tape, man?
What are you doing to
What are you
Tape
doing
now?
to Tape?
With all due respect, it's
Yeah.
like there's
We've
so
all
many.
been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. Not talking.
But I guess he's
yeah.
from a different country, innit? So it's like they're just letting him know this is the hot place. Someone's
Yeah, this is
selling
what
that,
you gotta
whatever.
do.
Yeah.
Well, nah, I just think that Tape's had its day. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't think it is whatever it is now, but or back then anyway. It's not how it is today. But 2023, he was there. Something happened. Apparently, he bottled a producer or something. Yeah.
What
Which is
context?
nuts.
Like in the studio, because there's a studio, isn't there? Or was it?
No, it's in Tape.
Can you
No,
find
but in
it?
Tape studio,
There
there's
was
a
a
studio
Tape,
within
there's
the
a
club.
Oh, I don't
Find
know
what?
that.
The incident with the Chris Brown thing.
Yeah, it says.
What does it say?
It just says assault, really.
So it doesn't describe the incident, no. It doesn't describe it. It doesn't even matter. Apparently, he's bottled somebody. That person has understood that is an absolute lottery ticket because, like, this is what
How
celebrities
bad
have
were
to
they
understand.
badly injured? Like, what?
It don't. You listen.
I know it doesn't
Let
matter.
me tell
but
you
just
something.
also-
If you balance the bottle on my head, my whiplash, I can't
Yeah,
go
I'm on the
work.
ground,
It's
I'm on the
mad. I
ground.
need 16 mil.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. So
True.
that's basically what's happened anyway.
Yeah.
But what was
Crazy,
really
it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't
Right.
know.
so what's really interesting to me, is that have you found something?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just the same thing you're saying.
What is really interesting to me is that he's got a tour that's coming up. Yeah. When this started to circulate, I was like, oh, I started seeing it, but I just thought it was old news because I kept seeing his mugshot or whatever. I thought it was old news. But then it was like, oh, I saw Manchester. So I'm thinking, hold on a minute, is Chris Brown here? And someone
Yeah.
told me, oh yeah, he is. He'd been arrested in Manchester. So I was thinking, that's really interesting. So it made me think, oh, maybe what's happened is they've got wind that this
They're
is
gonna
going to be a
arrest him,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah. He's got this tour coming up. He needs to get this sorted out before the tour, because then if he came during tour time, he's going to get arrested immediately and it messes up everything.
Yeah.
Hence why he's here a month earlier.
To try and probably not have to cancel the tour.
Sort it out.
Yeah, to sort it out. And I'm pretty sure that they would have been thinking, you'll go there, get arrested, sort whatever it is out, probably pay a little bit of money, come back, then you can just go back to the
Fine.
tour. But they've now put him on remand
What does that mean?
until, so he has to stay, he's in prison now until the 13th of June. His tour starts on the 16th for the UK dates.
Wow, so he's going to have to
Wow,
recruit
that
some people to be rehearsing with him.
Well, here's the thing.
What,
Jailhouse
in the,
Rockstar.
In this, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Can you imagine like flipping some of the man them in jail?
He's going to have to, because how is he going to rehearse?
I'm sure there's a couple of dancers in jail. I'm sure there's
Probably.
like a couple of dancers
What? No,
that.
guys, he can't really be doing this in jail, surely.
I mean, he's going to have to.
Surely. He's talking about, as if there's got to be a couple of
Nah,
dancers
but-
in there.
But he's being
Running
charged.
auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been charged with GBH.
GBH isn't small.
No, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So
I saw a meme today about it, and it was like such British humour for them to approve his visa just to
Yeah, I
arrest
saw
him.
that.
When
Yeah,
he-
it's a bit- yeah.
But I think like he's in a bit of a pickle here because they definitely wouldn't have known. I don't think that they would have thought that he would have been put on remand.
No, but they're
and held
probably
like
just
that.
trying to make
And
it
bearing in
example.
mind, it's June the 13th at the earliest, so that doesn't
Wow.
necessarily mean
That's tight.
that it's that day. Do you know what I mean?
That's
And
crazy.
depending on like how this
When-
thing goes, especially with like how the backlog of what's happening in the courts at the moment, this could go on for a little while.
He might bust it though.
No, it probably will. I
Probably
mean,
will.
we
He'll
don't
probably
know.
just pay.
No, but I'm reading. This says that the prosecution must prove that harm was caused recklessly or without specific intent. So if that producer bumped him,
Nah,
Is
that
that
doesn't
intent?
matter. You can't bump somebody and then bottle them.
Bottle, yeah.
That's mad.
I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying without specific intent.
Because I feel like GBH,
If you bottle somebody,
punch
that's
somebody,
intent. You don't. You can shoot somebody by accident.
About that, I'm just reading what it says. You know what I'm saying? It
You
must
can't
prove.
bottle. You can.
But no,
bottle
but then
somebody
there's
by
got to be
accident.
levels. Like GBH, when you punch somebody, is going to be a different kind
he
of
done that too.
treatment to bottling
Bottling
somebody.
somebody.
in the same.
Yeah, it said the
Thing.
defendant then pursued him in a separate area of the nightclub where the victim was punched and kicked repeatedly by him and another.
Oh my god.
So the victim
Do
pursued.
these
the
people forget
defendant-
who they
The
are as
defendant
well?
pursued the guy
So Chris Brown bottled him
and then moved to him.
and then chased him into a corner of the club. And
Allegedly.
and punched and kicked him.
We don't know
this is
what
all
happened
on
before
camera,
this
though.
attack. We don't know what happened.
Surely
but-
it's all on camera because
Probably.
clubs have like CCTV. It's like
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah,
that
there'll
you're
be
not exactly
CCTV
going to
on
hide.
that probably. So that will come up. That's going to come up in court probably.
You just
But-
think, do you forget who you are at in this moment? Like, is it worth losing your temper? Because it's like the way that he's going to be treated when everyone knows who he is. It's going to be way worse
Yeah.
and public than
Yeah.
somebody else
Mm.
who's just like a club goer.
Yeah, because they're also going to want to make an example out of him. 'Cause
Yeah.
They've got a lot of eyes on this case.
And also because of his history.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is super techy. But yeah, that's a conversation in itself. Like people are only humans, and I can imagine that sometimes some people just get agitated. Like, so let's say in this situation, I'm not saying this is what happened yet, but it's like I can see somewhat a life where there is an accumulation of things that have happened over a long period of time where so much people have just taken a piss, and then this person just gets to the end of their tether and then they meet a situation that wasn't even that serious in a really serious way because of all of the other stuff that has happened. Still wrong, but it's like when you are a superstar
Yeah,
now,
that's what I mean.
it becomes so different. Yes, you're a human being, yeah, but something's got to be in place to make sure that this just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And even
100%.
if you are, this is no slight to his team, but it's like, if I'm looking after a superstar, yeah, and I can see that they're not far off going mad,
Yeah.
but just gonna have to spend more money to just make sure that no one can get around this guy.
Yeah.
And the moment that it starts to become a problem, it's being handled in different ways. He's either being dragged out or there's somebody in there that is going to handle that, because this is going to mess up the whole thing. And especially, you see with Chris Brown, yeah, he was supposed to be, see where he's at now in terms of like selling stadiums and stuff.
Yeah.
This was supposed to happen ages ago.
Yeah.
But because of what's happened with the Rihanna stuff
Yeah,
and
and he
all that
couldn't
other
come
stuff,
to the UK for a long time.
he couldn't
as
come
well.
for ages. It's like it suppressed his whole career, yeah.
Mm.
And luckily for the absolute grace of talent and just consistently making
Yeah, he
hit
can.
records, yeah, he's able to put himself in that place where not only is he a 0.1%, but he's like a 0.1% of that too.
Yeah.
Because not much people could be in that scenario and then get to a place where they're now a superstar doing
100%.
stadiums all over the place. Do you know what I mean?
Much smaller things have ruined people's careers.
100%.
Much smaller, like even being associated with something, or something. But what happened, like, was so big, and the fact that he could. And now you'd think you're not going to put yourself in situations again. If you know that alcohol makes you want to fight, or you know that in a situation of a club, you just think, I've spoken to people before who have had a past in certain things, and they're like, I just won't put myself in an environment where anything could happen.
And you know what? Sometimes, obviously, not saying don't do this, but sometimes it might be useful to just have a don there. That you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But obviously, I can't do thing, but this one's violating. Handle that.
This is bad encouragement.
Don't do that. But like, if it's gonna be that, then it needs to be that. It can't be you.
No.
You can't do it. Like, you're gonna put yourself in a really, really bad situation. But then even then, sometimes it's best to not get your friends to do them type of things, because they'll be the ones that will end up going and get it will just get out of hand.
Ari,
it's fine.
Sorry.
What if she goes and pees in the carpet?
Or she can go pee or something.
Then
do you want to go and grab her?
About it.
No, she's come back. She was like, I don't want to be
Ari, come here.
Do you want me to give her some water?
That was gonna make her pee.
okay. She's such a needy girl. Fiona got out the car to put petrol, and this dog, look. I was like trying to calm her down. Look, this is the drama.
It's okay, she's coming back. Ari.
What happened? Where was it?
Just now.
I was just getting petrol.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
She's not a very friendly dog. I was in Central with her the other day, and we were chilling. I was having a coffee, and this guy comes over to her, and he's like, "Oh, she's so cute," and puts his hand on her head right here.
And she just went.
And she just went. Brr. But in her language, she's gone, "Don't touch me, bro. I don't know you." I don't know you like that. And then he's gone to me. She's not very friendly, and I was like, imagine you were chilling
right there,
and out of the sky, a big old hand comes and tickles your head. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Yeah, I said that to him, and he goes, "Well, yeah, I guess probably won't really like it." And I was like, "There we go then."
That's so
you know, I use that exact same example about a spider.
Yeah.
Imagine a big foot just came out of the sky and just trod on you.
Yeah.
You know that's how we deal with spiders.
Yeah, that's mad.
Spiders get dealt with rough.
I actually
they do. It's actually peak. Yeah, you're good. I had a video come up on my Snapchat yesterday. Did I send it to you?
Yeah, I saw it.
When we were in Mykonos, and there was this big spider. This girl goes. I was so impressed. She goes over. She picked the spider up with her hand and moved it. That's crazy to me. Last time there was a spider in my house, I jumped on the table.
Man.
Yeah, no, I try not to kill it. Look, listen, if it's a little ant, I'm not going to really have the same. But I don't know, I feel like spiders are a bit bigger. I'm like, they've got a bit more.
I don't want them to die either, but
I
can't deal with it. Like, I can't.
Yeah, no, it's light food for me. It's mold. That's my thing. I can't do it.
Oh yeah,
I hate mold as well.
I can't deal with mold. I got some strawberries in the fridge that need to be eaten today. And that if I don't eat them today, it's gone.
Yes.
And sometimes the whole container's gone as well.
Oh,
do you know how much times I've had to go?
When you
do you know how much times I've had to go to IKEA and buy more containers? Yeah, Tupperware and that. Because big man, I am not opening up the lid
and seeing it
and pouring it in paper and wrapping it up for me to accidentally touch it and this, that, and the fourth and this,
the
that.
worst.
You know what I'm saying?
Open the jar. Yes, I have.
Yeah, and then pull it in the bin, and then it's there marinating in my thing and all of that. I'm not doing it. And on top of that, not only do I, so if my neighbours watch this, then they're gonna laugh. But not only do I sometimes throw away the whole container, that doesn't go in the communal bin.
Right.
It goes in the bin down the road.
Right.
What? Really?
It can't be, because you know what it is. When I go down there, I don't want to know that it's there.
Right.
Oh my god, that's
a real phobia.
Yeah, so I go out. I literally come out of the building. I walk down the road with it like this, like that, and I'll walk to the bin that's like right down the other bits, and then I pull it in the bin outside. Bam, drop it there like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's annoying because fruit goes off quickly.
Yeah, but I do also, if you put strawberry in proper plastic, it doesn't go off so quick. Yeah,
he's well versed in
100%.
Strawberry's not my choice of fruit.
It is mine actually.
If it's a good one, like, do you know, fruit is one of those things that a good one is like worlds apart from a bad one. Like pineapple.
Yeah.
A good pineapple
Man,
is so
that's
so good, and then that you know it's really light yellow,
Yeah.
and it's a bit hard.
Yeah,
That's not even the same.
It's not.
That's not
No.
even the same species.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A pear as well. A good pear,
Yeah.
underrated.
Yeah, you love a pear.
A
I'm not
good
a pear.
pear.
I'm
Do you remember
not-
that
yeah, I'm
when
not
we were in
really a pear
Cyprus?
Yeah, they were good pears.
They're different. Don't think
I'm
about
not
the
a pear
pears
bum.
that you get here.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
Don't think about the
I will
pears
bust
that
me
you
on
get
a
here.
good pear then.
It's a different kind of
You
pear.
have to
About
look
pears.
where it's grown.
Yeah.
I always,
Yeah.
whenever I buy fruit and veg, I always look where it's grown. Like I'm not buying from a place that doesn't have natural sun.
Right.
I need
Oh, okay.
Moroccan
Exactly.
tomatoes.
Tomatoes in Greece,
Oh,
tomatoes
yeah.
should have their own name.
Yeah,
Oh,
Because they
yeah, they're
literally
incredible.
taste.
Fruit.
Yeah,
it's
they're
a different
incredible.
thing. They taste
Yeah,
like little
they're
sweets.
incredible.
They're delicious.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas
it's different.
tomatoes here,
It's
it's
different.
not the same thing.
Yeah.
Different. You
Not
can
really
easily
into
just have that in a
tomatoes
fruit
either.
bowl.
You
I
were
like- I like-
lapping up that tomato salad yesterday.
I was just about to say only cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, okay, but this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I don't big tomatoes.
Yeah.
No, not me.
From Italy, they're nice.
What,
Really?
big tomatoes?
The big tomatoes from Italy.
I
The
don't-
ones that look like a.
Nice sweet cherry tomatoes.
Yeah,
Plum.
little cherries.
Little
Yeah.
multicoloured ones.
But you are right about the tomatoes in Greece.
Mm.
Okay, just quickly, just to wrap up. Does anyone have any predictions on what they think is going to happen with this Chris Brown tour? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think he gets out of jail in time and that he only gets a slap in the wrist and he can actually do this tour?
I think he's not going to get a slap in the wrist. I think he's going to get either a fine or some sort of charge. But I feel like the tour will happen.
I think some of the tour will happen.
Yeah. Some.
That would be interesting. Imagine a couple of dates, but some don't. Man.
People with tickets are fuming.
Yeah.
The thing
They're
is,
like,
though,
free him.
yeah, it's mad though because he could get, if depending on how harsh, he could get 6 months. Now he's not going to do 6 months. He will have time served on a month, so take that away. Then you only do half of your sentence, yeah. So he'd only end up doing like a month and a bit,
Yeah.
which still would mean that he misses
Some
the
of the
breezy
tour.
stuff. Yeah,
But I'm just thinking. So what he's gonna if he goes to prison, it's gonna be in the UK.
he's in prison right now
yeah.
in
The
Manchester.
thought of him in a UK
Yeah.
prison shouldn't laugh, but it's actually so funny.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I even got there, because I'm like, someone woke up today and said, "Look, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a cellmate, but let's just say, for joke's sakes,
He does.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
you're just in jail and then the door opens up and it's breezy. Just walk, because I could imagine man would
You're
look and
thinking,
say,
God, you look a lot like Chris Brown.
"Yeah, brother, you."
Yeah.
Like, man will be in jail like this, brother. I swear I recognise you. What do you do?
Yeah.
That's the average.
No. Then they might say, "Wow, oh, what? You're from America? Wait, hold on a minute. So what? Are you one of them? Like what? Are you one of Kai Cenat's dons or something like that? You know, like they'll say some shit like that.
So
They'll be like,
Or imagine
oh,
it's
you
a
rap,
super
like,
fan.
you rap.
Like,
Yeah.
imagine it's a super fan. He's like got posters in his cell.
Oh,
No, he's got to fling on an accent and
tissue.
just be someone else.
He's got bare posters on Chris Brown and tissue.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Cheeks tensed.
But what's that? The
That's not
lowest
gonna go
sentence
well.
is 3
That's
years.
the
it
average
says.
sentence of GBH in
Between
the
3 and
UK.
6.
He ain't getting free. Between 3 and 16.
That's
Between.
more than I thought.
So
Because
a start
GBH
at
could
3.
be that someone's
That's what
nearly
it says.
dead. Like,
I'm just going off of.
Nah, I
what
think
it
like you. I genuinely don't think.
It
that
says
he-
depending on how serious the offence is considered, and the court's determination of culpability by the offender and harm caused.
I do think that with the fact that we have the prisons are so full at the moment, to put somebody in jail for bottling someone for that long seems a lot.
I think
But-
what the worst case is that he gets a suspended sentence and he definitely can't do the tour.
He can't do the
Gets kicked
tour.
out of the country.
Yeah, you get kicked out of the country, 100%. Yeah, so that I think the tour's in serious jeopardy. How much of this Diddy thing do you know about them?
so
huh?
I did some research last night because I know
You can
two are
ask
so
me
into
all the
this.
questions in the world because I feel like I know everything.
Tell us everything, Chuckie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
stay
am
quiet on this
reading
YouTube.
all of the transcripts, and not only am I reading the transcripts, I'm watching stuff from people who are in the courts, because you see the transcripts, because it's a federal case, you can't have cameras or audio stuff in there, so there are people that are jotting it down. Yeah. However, as you can imagine, when people are talking, you can't get the whole sentence,
of
so a lot
course,
of them
yeah.
are abbreviated. But then the people that are in the courts, they are essentially elaborating more on what exactly has been said
Right,
and all
yeah,
that type
yeah.
of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
And let me
going off
tell
on
you
TikTok.
something. Huh?
They're going off on TikTok, so I'm watching this.
What? This
Wow.
first week has been
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely crazy. So the first thing that actually happened was they had a guy called Daniel Phillips. He testified first. Daniel Phillips was a prostitute. Yeah. Actually, I don't even want to call him a prostitute because the funniest thing about it and the most interesting thing about it is that he actually isn't a prostitute by trade.
Yeah.
What happened is he's a dancer.
Okay.
So he's got a phone call now saying, yo, Bomb, pull up to this place now to go and just get your dancing off, innit?
Right.
Get your G string. You know what they had. What do they wear?
Jockstrap?
What do they call it?
Jockstrap?
A jockstrap.
I'm not going to Google it.
It's the one where you hold the penis and the thing like that. It's cupping it off like that. But then it has the thing, like the thing in your ass crack. Oh no, some of them, they don't even have that, do they?
I don't know.
You see when strippers and that, yeah, when they're doing the dancing or whatever. Have you ever had a dance by a stripper before?
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't really interest. I went to
That
Magic
doesn't
Mike
do it for
show
me.
once, but
That doesn't do it for me.
That's why I think it needs to happen.
Why?
funny.
Because that will
I'll
make
just be
it
like,
so
I'm like,
funny.
put it
Do you know
away.
what? Do you know what?
I don't want someone
One
gyrating
day,
in my face.
when you
I
come
don't
in-
want it.
One day when you come here to do this pod, yeah, someone's coming in here.
It's the bully.
Someone is coming in here from Chocolate
Oh,
City.
please do it.
I'm gonna get
Oh
one
my
of them
God.
Chocolate City
Oh,
dons
that's
come in
so
there
funny.
Do
in
it.
the
I will be
G-string.
mortified, but
But
Oh, I
anyway,
love it.
G-string.
Oh, that'd
whatever
be
it is,
so
what do they wear?
good.
It's a G-string, isn't it?
I don't know if it's
Whatever it is, that thing.
Mankini, who knows? The Borat one.
Yeah, basically it holds your thing, whatever. Boom. So he's gone in there on a vibe of, I'm gonna go and get my dancing off, whatnot, run a rhythm, boom, 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 boom. So obviously now he's saying when he's got there, Cassie's in red with a light mask on,
Right.
and Diddy is in black. He's got a black balaclava on and a do-rag and a robe. Right?
Is it
She's
on
obviously-
top of the balaclava?
No, he's got the balaclava around him.
Oh, okay,
Over
a mask.
Mouth.
Like a
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah, like a mask.
Okay.
And then he's got a do-rag on, so you can only see his eyes. And then he's in a robe, and then she's obviously told him, don't worry, he's not gay. He just likes to watch, right? So obviously,
But this guy thought he was going to do a dance.
Yeah.
He didn't know that he was right.
so he was paid up to £6,000 to end up like getting to the thing, innit?
Right.
But I don't know if it was per time.
Okay.
So he's actually saying in court now, he's obviously honest because it's like
Right.
when he's got there, it's like obviously it's a bit mad than that, but this woman's beautiful, isn't it? And he's getting I can see how that could happen, innit? Like man them are turning up to go and get their dancing off, and then they're being told, hold on a minute, here's a few racks to chop this woman. They can't believe it.
Yeah.
They're thinking I would have
Like
just
one of the
done.
most
You could have just
beautiful-
shouted
Yeah.
me. And I'm just thinking you could have just shouted me, and I would have
Yeah.
just. I don't,
you
do you
didn't
get what I'm saying?
pay
You
me.
didn't even have to pay me.
Are they signing NDAs?
I would have
Probably
thought so, but that
signing
actually hasn't come up in court,
Right.
not one time. But I would assume so, though.
You would think so, yeah.
yeah, probably.
I would assume
But
so.
then maybe when there's a case, you guys know more about this. But does that mean the NDAs become benign?
Yeah,
they
they're
won't
void.
They won't
They
be
won't-
relevant.
right.
They won't,
okay.
yeah. So he then only realised it was Diddy through hearing him speaking, and then also like as time went on, he would just take it off and all that
Right.
type of
He
stuff.
starts trusting.
Yeah. So like he just
His
took.
aim, sorry, is that his aim was to cover his identity with the balaclava and the do-rag?
Well, I guess so. Like in the beginning,
Right.
you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, if it
we
was
brought
gay.
this person in. You don't really know like. It's through somebody, but you don't really know them. He's obviously trying to just protect his identity.
Yeah.
He's not going to
Right.
show his face off the bat.
See if the energy's weird, and then
Yeah.
the energy's weird.
But then
all
they
over
were
the place.
using him quite a bit. So he was coming in. He was just giving some details into what was happening and whatever else, yeah. And like the details were quite explicit, but it was only until Cassie, that was the first day. Then the next day, Cassie went on the stand. So she'd been testifying from Tuesday to Friday, yeah. And Jesus Christ. The detail in this
Oh my
is
God.
insane. But the way that the two sides.
Can you give me an example?
So like basically when the first day that she testified, it was the prosecution that was cross-examining
Right.
her, yeah? So the prosecution is obviously the people that are trying to get Diddy
Yeah.
in jail. So they are painting a picture of this relationship,
Right.
yeah, that she's in with him. And she's talking a lot about like, so for example, what did you call Diddy? Pop. What was that about? So she explained that like Diddy, they were coming up with nicknames for each other or whatever, and Diddy was like, what's your granddad's name? What's your granddad's name? What do you used to call your granddad? And so she said Pop Pop. So he was like, call me Pop Pop.
That's so odd.
Yeah, so it's like, again, when you're looking into, if you go into the psychology of abuse and all of these and how certain people move, it's like you take something that is
like a loving fatherly figure,
and then you take that name and you twist this into some whole different thing. They were talking about some of the things that he was allegedly he was making her do, and like why she was doing them. So she said that like quite early on in their relationship, he had said to her that they should explore voyeurism. Voyeurism is where a person ends up like watching. They like to watch their partner being pleasured.
Right.
Yeah. So she did it one time. She's saying she did it one time. She felt really uncomfortable in doing it, but where she found the comfort was how happy it made him.
Right.
Yeah. So like she wanted to just make him happy. Bearing in mind at this point she's already seeing how turbulent his like moods. His moods are like. 1 minute he's like mad loving and this, that and the thing, and they've had that for a little while. Now all of a sudden he's just flipping, switching up the place and doing all that type of stuff. So anyway, now, you know, some of the other details, like Diddy had a thing for black men with big wood and this, that, and like she was talking about how one time he wouldn't want the guys to use protection. Yeah. They would have to finish on her. Then when they finish on her, they would go into another room, and then she would put the semen of the other guy on his nipples.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He was on all of that. Like there was just like all kinds of stuff. But again, the way that the prosecution are doing this is making an understanding of the abuse and how they got into this element, of their relationship, and it was just a lot of mad stuff, like a lot of things that he was doing, taking the phone, beating her up. They were talking about what actually happened in the lobby that we all saw. That was literally at the end of a freak-off.
Right.
Yeah. So
and
he was calling them
freak-offs.
Freak-offs
Were just these big kind of like sex parties.
They weren't even big. Some of them.
Just like
there was just like sometimes it would just be him, her, and another Don.
guy.
Like one of the guys that kept coming up a lot of the time. His name was called Jules, and his nickname was the Punisher. Mad. Yeah. So they would keep using Jules. They would keep using, and that was another thing they was doing. They had all the pictures of the guys. So then, like, they would show her a picture of the guy. She would say their name, and she would just say what that was, what he was doing, what their relationship was, or whatever. Yeah.
One of these freak-offs lasted 4 days.
4 days.
How does that work?
Because
like
they're so fucked up. I think it was ecstasy. That they just did so many drugs that it just continued for 4 days.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
And as you could imagine, it's probably like switching of men in that. Like, of course they would have breaks, but it was like they're just locking themselves in a room and they're just going crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
There was so much that came out in it, but then after that was the defense. They were
hit
testifying.
This with my foot. Is it alright?
Yeah, cool. They were cross-examining her, and what they did, because all you have to do is create some doubt in the jury's mind of her motive. Because like a lot of people had been asking, like, is she complicit? Did she know what she was doing? Was she actually really in on it, isn't it really?
Right.
So that was how they were framing it, and like they actually did a very good job at doing that, because what they did was their narrative was to show that she was a liar, that she was a cheater, and that like in fact at certain points she was quite aggressive too. So like for example, they started with the Ryan Leslie thing.
Right.
When she met Diddy, she was dating Ryan Leslie, who was a producer, yeah? So then, she then started seeing Diddy behind Ryan Leslie's back. It came out that, like, Diddy and them had created a whole flyer of her doing a PA in Miami. So it looked like she was going to Miami to go and do this PA, when really she was going to check Diddy and all that type of stuff, yeah? So then this was all...
showing, like, trying to make her look like she was just dishonest and cheater and whatever.
Then there was other things, like when she was with Diddy, like some of the other things that came up, like Diddy going through her phone and finding out that she was seeing some NFL player. Some situation with Chris Brown as well,
I heard something about Michael B. Jordan as well.
Michael B. Jordan, yeah, she went on a to film something,
a movie,
and she done something, yeah, with Michael B. Jordan, and then the Kid Cudi thing. Basically, Diddy had introduced her to Kid Cudi, so it's funny how like it's ironic, innit? Like Ryan Leslie introduces her to Diddy, then this happens. Diddy introduces her to Kid Cudi and whatever, and this happens. So like you could see where like they were trying to push this thing.
Paint the picture.
Yeah, they were trying to paint that picture. Yeah, and also like they were reading the text messages. So the text messages like often would come up like, you know, she would say like, I'm horny, I'm bored, like when are we gonna freak off?
Right.
When are we gonna do this? Or we should do it on a Friday for us.
Sorry.
There's a dog in the room, by the way, just in case you didn't notice. Like the texts were the things that were really interesting, because again, you know, like you can read texts without the full context, but ultimately.
I told you, she's a little bitch.
She is. It's so embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
It's not very demure, darling.
Yeah.
Calm down.
She just looks at you like, you don't get it.
Yeah, stay over there, rude boy. Stay over there, brother.
She cuddled me for like 2 seconds and then realised what she was doing and went back over there.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was reading out some of these text messages where she's saying that she wants to freak off and whatever. Also, one of the other things that they did was...
But also, wait, before you move from that also could have been... When someone's in an abusive relationship, they're trying to do something. They're trying to please that person.
That's
like,
exactly what it is.
Yeah, you know. So she's saying that because she knows he's gonna like that. She's trying to play into it, like because she's in this abusive thing, not because she wanted to, I guess.
Exactly, and that's what the prosecution essentially was highlighting too when they came back and did the redirect, because it's like, yeah, these things happened, but why was she doing that? Also, heavily on drugs.
Right,
so there's two sides, you know, like the prosecution and the defense highlight one thing in two different ways.
Yeah.
So she'd be on drugs, we know that. Yeah. The defense will say, well, the prosecution will say he was giving her all these drugs. She was like, and she needed to do that to get through what she was going through. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for any woman, even if you are into having these type of freak-offs, being with a one man who's got a sizable ting on a thing is already a lot for a woman to handle. Right. 9, 10 every day, that's 4, crazy. Like that's a lot to deal with. So you would have to be on some type of drug.
Lobby as well.
Huh?
Like anyone who could try and say that she wanted it, like that video where she's running away in that lobby, it's like you can't question. You
can't dismiss that.
She's
but then the defense,
the
defense, will say she's a drug addict. You know what I'm saying? She was a drug addict, and ultimately, Diddy might have introduced her to some stuff, but she was just indulging in it. She loved it. So there was a lot of that came about. But one thing that was actually, there was a couple of things that was quite difficult to hear. Yeah? One was she told the story to the prosecution and the defense, but obviously it came out in 2 different ways. One was that when they had a closure dinner 2018, they sat down, went to a restaurant in Malibu or something like that, had this closure dinner or whatever.
Closure dinner,
just as closure. He then came to her house afterwards and R'd her.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He R'd her, yeah. However, though, a couple of weeks after that, she had consensual sex with him.
Right.
So as you can imagine, the defense are diving into that.
They're poking holes into the situation.
100%.
Like someone's just done that to you, and then you sleep with them. But the thing
is, then also, do you know what as well? Sorry, Tiggs. Yeah. Afterwards, when she had the consensual sex with him, her now husband, he had FaceTimed her, so it was like, again, feed it into that narrative
into the
of
thing
like
that she was with someone else and still. But that's what abuse does, though.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just going to spin it. They're going to find anything that the prosecution are going to do. They're going to take that and go, let's spin that. Let's spin that in the other way. That's what they're supposed to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So from you see with the jurors, naturally, obviously, you can see how that can create some type of doubt. But what they will have to do is, and what they probably will do is at some point, is get some type of psychologist in to discuss and talk about abuse and how abuse works and how Stockholm syndrome works. Do you get what I'm saying? people naturally fall in love with their abuser. Bearing in mind, she's 19 when all of this started. Yeah, she wasn't being abused at 19. She met Diddy at 19. Yeah. All of this kind of started when she was like 21. But ultimately, which I thought was kind of interesting too, is that she did say that she was introduced to oral sex or whatever through Diddy, and that she was quite sexually inexperienced at the time that she met Diddy. But one thing that most people are not talking about is that she was with Ryan Leslie, who was 10 years older than her and was dating her when she was like 17. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? So ultimately, her being with older men at a young age is a thing. And that plays some type of a role in some element of sexual, I don't want to say liberation, because that isn't always the case. Like, it could be sexual manipulation. It could be a whole bunch of different things. It could just... Exploitation. Do you know what I mean? And that can play out in so many different ways. Yeah. But it's like, regardless of what happens here, regardless of how they painted that, it's like, I go back and I look at the video and I'm like, this is mad. This was caught on camera one time.
Exactly. Imagine what was happening behind closed doors, and he must have been just so angry, not thinking about cameras.
He didn't give a fuck.
Imagine what he was doing behind closed doors when there was no one there, no one watching. Like, that level of control, you can't even fathom.
No.
Yeah. Also, because I'm hearing people say, "Oh, she was 19 when she got them. It didn't start at 19." Okay, she was under his spell from 19.
From 19.
Yeah, literally.
So it doesn't matter if it started at 22.
It took work for him to get her to do all of that.
Yeah, exactly. So she was under this spell that he's casted at 19. At 22, that's when he started to actually do... Also, 22 is still... You're a baby.
You're a baby, yeah.
Well, do you know what? Technically, it did start at 19, because from when she signed that contract, whether it was 19 or 20 or whatever, she signed a 10-album deal. My man he knew from the get-go, this is mine. This is mine. From when I can sign you to a 10-album deal, that's me basically saying, I don't want you anywhere away. I don't want you away from me.
Yeah.
From the get-go. That's the first sign. Yeah. 10. One album came out. What are you showing there, EA?
You're talking about the hotel, and he actually tried to pay 50k to get the footage.
Yeah.
I think that kind of power.
That guy's going to testify, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Which guy?
Because the full 15-minute video came out. And you can see the guy, bro. Do you know what?
Oh, yeah,
there's a funny part. It's not funny. It's actually not funny.
Where the lift is, like, there was like a longer video, and the actual someone who works there comes out, and he's like trying to stop him, but I'm like, you could have done a bit more. No,
because do you know what was quite telling? Is that he comes out of the lift and he just like, he looks at both of them as if to say, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he comes out of the lift and he's seeing Diddy sitting there in a towel, like raging. Well, obviously he's just stopped because he's just seen the guy. Cassie looks an absolute mess. And he's thinking...
What is happening?
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, he's spun. You can tell you can literally see him take a second being like, wait, what? Like, why is Diddy and Cassie, like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, but, okay, there is some other elements to this, though, because regardless of what's happened, and I could deep dive into like loads of things that she said.
Well.
She's
heavily
pregnant
for her pregnancy.
But the thing is, what the prosecution is going to have trouble doing so far is tying all of this into what he's been charged for.
What's he actually been charged for?
He's been charged for racketeering, which essentially is using your business and your whole operation as a criminal enterprise for profit. Yeah. The other is sex trafficking, and then one is transportation for the purpose of prostitution, which he will definitely get found guilty of.
Right, but then like as in the sex trafficking thing, what would fall under that? Like, for example, him...
Put it on the screen here.
Him having like the male prostitutes come and whatever, does that fall into trafficking?
I don't know if the male prostitutes will be the sex trafficking bit.
What is the definition of sex trafficking?
Put it on the screen.
But for them to charge him with this, they will have something. So there will be, if it hasn't come on like this week, in the next couple of weeks, there'll be something specific to this. So
what does it say here?
The recruitment, transportation, transfer, harbouring or receipt of persons by means of threat or use of force or other forms of coercion of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power of the position.
So essentially, he trafficked her.
Right. So sorry, go back just quickly. I just wanted to break this down very quickly.
Like however many other.
So the recruitment and transportation transfer. So that, by the way, see part of that because there's another charge here, which is transportation for the purpose of prostitution. In my mind, he's definitely going to get found guilty for that because that's already been proved.
Yeah.
He's prostitutes are coming to check him to do X, Y, and Z. He did get found guilty for that. Yeah. The recruitment, transportation, transfer, and harbouring, that can maybe fall under the guys that will come in there, but maybe not so much the harbouring, because he recruited them, he transported them and transferred
Does
them.
it have to be all of those things though? That's what I mean.
It could be one.
No, it could be one.
Yeah, so they won't need to be all of these because you say or receipt of persons, which means they're just listing of what they could be. So like
all of these things fall under forms of
forms of coercion
through the forms of by means of use of force
or is it abuse of power of a position or of a position.
So if you do you can all these things through by means of threat of use of force or forms of coercion. So him.
Surely he's
so they would need to.
I mean, like we know, like regardless of the nuances of it, like everyone knows he did some mad stuff. Like, surely he's going to get.
But you just have to. You have to find it
that exactly. Like,
as like there can't be a shadow of a doubt.
But shouldn't that video in itself be a chargeable thing? Like
that video would be but that is as a charge is like much smaller.
Than
that's I don't think he's been charged for domestic abuse.
But he should be, surely.
I think it will fall. No, I don't think.
If there's a domestic abuse charge, then because this is
why wouldn't there be?
What a lot of people are debating is that is it sex trafficking with Cassie in particular,
if she was,
or is it domestic abuse?
Right, but it's not
because there's a difference between domestic abuse and sex trafficking.
But it can be both, no?
It could be.
Yeah, I do wonder whether we've also got that. The abuse charges.
It could be.
So sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And he's definitely going to get found guilty for that.
It could be that he that the case isn't strong enough to put that forward for domestic abuse.
What's that?
Like, as in
video.
But how could a video evidence not be?
Because he might have said that she's hit me with an iron or something.
No.
My point is that if you put somebody on for something, they could easily be like, oh, like we can do the same thing.
Yeah, but why would you not just add that in? Do you know what I mean?
Bro, that's off. Like ultimately,
in the terms of court, I'm not talking in terms of real life. In terms of court,
I'm talking about the charges and why they're like what they are charging Diddy for. So they ultimately, the thing that they were looking at mainly is the racketeering charge. That's the biggest thing. That he is using his business as a criminal enterprise. Remember, they used to use, that was traditionally, they made that for the mafia guys, isn't it? I was telling you about this. Like basically what would happen is that you would have the mafia bosses, and then you would have like there's a hierarchy in it. Below that you've got like the captains, and there's all these names for these guys that they had. And then you had the low level street crime dons who were going and doing the murders and killing people and this, that and the fourth. So naturally those are the guys that would go to jail. But the head is still operating this whole thing, bearing in mind that not only are they doing this, they own shops, they own oil, they were owning like all these different things, but they couldn't tie it to the mafia boss because the mafia boss wasn't actually physically shooting anyone or holding anything or doing anything. So what they did was they was like, you know what, in order to get this guy, they created the racketeering thing so that they could essentially pinpoint this don and put him in jail for 100 million years. I think that's ultimately what they were doing with Diddy. Now, this thing, I don't know if this is a situation where Cassie had to come and press charges on it or whatever for it to be a thing today. But what we do know is that they have been on Diddy for a bunch of different things and they are putting it all into a pot. I just don't know if one of his charges, which it doesn't look like it's those three, isn't it? He's got three charges.
It doesn't look like domestic abuse is on there.
It's not. It's not there. But I can't tell you exactly why. But they will use it.
I was about to say
they'll use it to paint. to paint the picture of what was going on, because if it is sex trafficking, remember she just said that she came just straight out of a freak off.
Yeah.
So then what is a freak off then?
Yeah,
freak
exactly.
off is that you transported this person in, you might have coerced them to come in. Yeah.
And the fact she's trying to escape, she's trying to leave.
Yeah, she's trying to leave. So it's and he's dragging her
by
back.
force, dragging her back. I feel like it's really.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably they're gonna touch on it obviously and put it under one of these rather than its own.
Yeah, I think the point I was trying to make was that like they probably haven't used domestic violence because the federal case wants to just put Diddy behind for 100 years rather than have it on his record. It's not important. The record bit I don't think is important to them. The important bit is just putting behind.
Can someone in court
and
this
is not Cassie versus Diddy or Diddy versus Cassie, by the way. It's America versus Diddy.
Exactly. Can someone get charged in court for something that wasn't initially in the trial? Like, as in, say something gets uncovered within the trial that wasn't the original thing they were charged for. For example, domestic abuse, just in this example, comes up where there's like so much evidence of this crime that they weren't being originally charged for.
After the fact. So what happens is I followed this case where this man had killed this woman's husband.
Right.
Yeah. So that all went to court.
Yeah.
But as they were uncovering all of the evidence, they were then showing these audios of him talking to the man who died, his missus, that she was chatting to him.
Right.
And kind of also encouraging him to kill her husband or whatever.
Fine.
So then this all came up in court. So you know now, as soon as this thing is over, you're getting arrested.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got no chance because you already know the evidence that they've got of you on the phone doing X, Y, and Z. So yeah, that's
so, but it would have to become its own trial.
Yeah.
It'll have to be its own trial. Yeah. And then obviously you'll know straight away.
But it's like you said, Cassie's not the whole trial. There's so much towards Diddy. Cassie's just one of the main.
Yeah, this is week
people.
one. This will be a
This is
long
week
trial.
one. For them,
crazy.
you got to look at it like this as well. Yeah. For them to use what is known, like some people would say, is their star witness straight away, means that if they're saying that this is going on for like a month and a half, they're saying this could be up to 6 weeks. Trust me, they got more things.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot more. There's a lot
crazy.
more.
Imagine when other big names start getting dropped.
Huh?
Imagine when other big stars.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, big names are already being dropped, but just not in that context. Like, it was interesting that there was a thing between her and Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? That whole thing between her and Chris Brown, which it didn't seem like Chris Brown did a thing with her. I think that was more a jealousy thing. But like names are actually being dropped.
Wasn't there like a speculation as well or like an accuser that said that there was, in one of these situations with Diddy, there was a big female singer in the room also being a part of this abuse, and it was insinuated that maybe it was JLo or something.
That will come up. It ain't come up yet, but that will come up. Like, listen, in regards to the staff, in her testimony, everyone knows exactly what's going on. Everyone, they're all facilitating it. But also, on top of that, he's abusing some of them too.
Right,
she was talking about how he, dragging this person, hitting this one around the head with a hanger. Like, he was going mad with a lot of people. So it was clearly common knowledge that he was just a madman. Like, was abusing his power. Yeah. They played a tape of her on the phone saying that she was going to kill this guy or whatever because she had this feeling that he was recording them. A freak off, and then I think somebody had like let her know that there was like this tape of her or whatever, and Diddy doing a madness or whatever else, and like, yeah, man, it's just like it's crazy. They definitely put her through. They put Cassie through it.
Yeah,
they definitely put Cassie through it, and they definitely
the defense did.
The defense did, yeah. But when you look and understand how abuse works, you can see how somebody could be in this mess, especially with somebody as powerful
so much power
Diddy. Like, I can imagine as well. Yeah, Diddy comes across as one of them dons who he's got the world at his shoulder. He can do everything. Yeah, and he actually has a way with words. When you hear him sometimes talking about certain things and people or whatever, and like, he's like, he can be really endearing. So imagine like a man or a person who's mad endearing, yeah. They take you all over the place. They they fill you with so much courage and and confidence and all of that type of stuff. And they give you that for a year and a half. They give you that for a year and a half, everything. And then one day you're just sitting there chilling, talking, and you say something, and they say, "Shut the fuck up." You're kind of like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. You're just chatting too much shit. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And you're now locked in by that point.
Yeah, you're locked in.
And you're not thinking that is the person. You're thinking that's a blip because you've only seen this good thing.
That's where that's where it starts.
I wonder whether because isn't there like a lot to be said that about like Justin Bieber? Like imagine
that's
he ends
going to come up
getting
as well.
called
To be honest with you, I think.
Isn't he? He's not really all there right now.
I don't know.
No.
I think it's really sad. I was a real believer.
I think it's real sad.
What's your lot's take on it? Sorry, was you going to say that?
I was just going to say, I do think it takes a real level of compartmentalising to be a defence in something like this. Like knowing, seeing all these allegations and then going, yeah, I'll back
It's evil. It's evil. Sorry, it's evil.
I remember because I studied law, I remember speaking to a lawyer, and he used to be a defence lawyer, and then we were just talking to him, and I was like, why did you stop? Because he stopped and he goes, I remember I sat down with this guy in front of me and I saw this long list of what he had been accused for, and he just thought, I can't do this anymore. Like, I actually cannot do this. And he was like, there's a bunch of things with the children and da-da-da-da. And he was like, and I was just like, I cannot defend somebody like you anymore.
I had a really interesting conversation about that with Judge Rinder, because he's a good friend of my mum's. You should have him on here actually, because he's done some crazy cases.
Yeah.
Like some really, you'll remember better than me. Weren't you there when we were having that conversation?
I don't think I was.
Wasn't he a criminal lawyer?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the.
Really interesting, like some.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my point is being able to sit on a stand and watch this like woman who's gone through all of this and knowing that your job there is to paint her as a liar, as a cheat, as a violent person, because they're talking about texts that she sent him around, I will kill you and I will cut you and all right.
She just nips me.
And you have to do that for the next couple of weeks. Defend this absolute monster.
Yeah, and then this person's already been through enough, and you're having to do that.
And then you can just go home and just sleep like peacefully. And be like, yes, that's what I'm doing. Oh, I've got to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you know what
like,
though?
What?
Do you know what? Nah, I have an opposing view on it though.
Someone has to do it. I know that.
Yeah, nah, it's not even just that. But like in this context, yeah. In this context in particular, I'll go into the other ones in a bit. But in this context, yeah. One, the point is that they have to prove that this is racketeering. So I don't think that anyone is saying that he didn't do some of the things that he did do. But the point is that can you tie this to a racketeering thing?
Yeah.
Did he use his business for profit as a criminal enterprise? So that's what they are having to do.
Yeah, but you're still defending a person, helping them trying to get a lighter sentence when you know they've done all these evil things.
Yeah, but you can't go to jail for something you didn't do though.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you can't. It's like saying if you had a fight with somebody, yeah. This is just a mad example. Let's say you had a fight with somebody, and you beat that person up, but the person, like, I don't know. Let's say you beat the person up, yeah. Then later on, that person might have got they might have got run over by a bus, and then they died. You can't go to jail for murder.
Right? Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? You just had a fight. You beat that person up. You beat them up bad, but they got run over. It was the bus that did that. For them, it's like they have to prove that element of it. Yeah, and I think that that's why it is fair. But also, I do think too that like I can see in the example that you're using, because I get what you're saying in regards to like the abusive thing, which he clearly has done. I can actually see how somebody, I don't have this opinion by the way, I don't. But I can see how somebody looking at how this testifying went over the last couple of days would look at that and say, in fact, yeah, this was not a great situation, but she was very much in this with Diddy. And she may have actually have done this, like this last part, she might have done it for money. Because that was another thing they brought up in
the last part.
You know, she got the 20 mil or whatever.
Million, yeah.
She got 20. It turned out she got 20.
Oh, right.
So like, they brought up, okay, you, where was she living? Like, where was she living around that time? She's living in LA. Turned out that she moved back to her parents with her partner and her kids, yeah. So they were saying like financial issues, all of that.
Yeah.
Then that she had booked a tour to go on this tour in Australia, blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as she got the P, she didn't do it and all of that type of stuff. So like, although I don't agree that she did that and I think that she should get more money, I can see how somebody would look at all of this and say, yeah, this was not a good situation, but this isn't what she's painting it out to be. Now, where I have an issue there is if somebody could defend somebody knowing in their heart that this person is an absolute scumbag. Yeah. And they are defending the scumbag-ism. Because what they're supposed to do, I think, is they're supposed to look at the evidence or whatever that they've got and say, this is your best bet. This is what you should do. So let's say a person has abused children, yeah? Don't say that you didn't do it, because clearly you did do it. But what we can do is, we can maybe look at their mental state. Right. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Or, I can tell you, plead guilty. If you plead guilty, you're going to get a lesser time in jail.
Yeah.
So I want to try to encourage you to please just say that you're guilty and I'll go through the process so that you can get the appropriate charge. If you say not guilty, then we take it to trial, you're going to end up getting a bigger sentence and I can't win it. I can't beat it. I can't win it anyway. But my issue is that if somebody could look and say, for example, in the case of like someone abusing a child or even murder, and they know in their heart that person did do it, and they're defending it, I don't rate that.
No, and it's like you said, like someone's got to do it, but actually, if everyone said no, I'm not doing it,
they have to defend themselves.
You have to defend yourself, because really, if you don't, if it was like if there was a moral compass where it was like nobody's going to defend this person.
Yeah, I think the issue is that some lawyers and attorneys and that they will just take the P, but I don't think in their world, I don't think that's what they're supposed to do. Yeah, of course you're supposed to get paid for your work. But you are supposed to, it's supposed to be done, the system is supposed to be done so it's fair, but you're supposed to give the right advice and move forward with the right advice as opposed to saying, do you know what, I think you did do it, but I'm going to take the P and I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you can't do that. Give the right advice. And if you believe that that person is guilty and you know that, you're just supposed to say, oh no, and you can't tell them or persuade them to go guilty and to do the right thing, then you're supposed to step away.
Right.
But actually, they will always need somebody. I'm just thinking about it, like if everyone said no, that I think
there's always one person.
No, but I think there actually has to be. I'm just thinking like everyone has the right to a fair trial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there always will be someone there to do it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's an interesting concept being a defender.
Oh, well, sometimes
God, you are.
I could imagine.
Just when I think we're bonding.
I can imagine what happens sometimes is that like they will a lawyer might think, nah, this person there's a loophole in this. Like this isn't. There's more to this, yeah. And then as the trial goes on, they realize you're not beating this, you know. And they might turn around and say, big man or big woman, you ain't beating this, and it might be in your best interest to just say X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then if they turn around and say, nah, still, I didn't do it. It's like, okay, now it's that moral thing. Are you gonna stick? Are you gonna stick with it? Are you gonna stick with it, or are you gonna step out?
What do you think is gonna happen?
In this case, I think so far, looking at it, he's guilty on transportation for the purpose of prostitution. That's there. I think sex trafficking, I think there's something in there with that. Racketeering at the moment, I'm yet to see it.
But it's just the beginning. So.
It's just the beginning. Yeah, it's just the beginning.
But like the question is, like, do you think he's going to go to prison for life? I think so.
No, I don't think he's going for life though.
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it's so bad.
But I think he's a white collar prison. You have to.
I think that.
Really?
Yeah.
Life. I don't think you get life with sex trafficking though. Do you? You can.
But wouldn't it be like, as in, like, if
the charges,
but if the charges all add up.
Oh yeah, then yeah. So if he gets like a few years for the transportation of purpose of prostitution
Exactly,
as well as sex trafficking. It's a lot still.
Like, even if it's not like a life sentence, it could be technically a life
He won't,
sentence.
No, you
What's
won't,
that?
right?
He won't.
What's
No,
that?
I don't
White
think
collar
so.
prison is for like non-violent.
Nah, he's
Yeah,
going to
that's
Yeah,
prison.
it's
He's
got to
got
go to
prison.
prison.
He's
White
going with
collar
R.
is like
Kelly
the
and them,
small
man.
level.
Yeah.
It's when it's like, yeah.
But yeah,
That's just for rich people.
what is you lot's take? This is the last thing, by the way. What is you lot's take on like what people have been saying about Alex Fine, her partner?
Which part? Like,
So like people have been saying, oh, like it must be hard for him to hear this in court, and like she's a piss mob and this, that, and blah blah blah.
Disgusting.
I reckon that like everything that's being said, he already knew. Like I reckon they must have done so much talking and like, you know, I don't think anything that he's hearing in court is going to be the first time he's hearing it. From what I've seen, he seems like he's a really nice man, like a good man who loves her. They have a family together. And just to go on the point that you said earlier about the timing of her going after the money and whatever, it might have been at a point where she is in a healed place with her husband, with her kid, where she finally feels that she has the strength to do that. So do you know what I mean? That's maybe why that happened then instead of a few years ago. I just think people love to be horrible.
Yeah.
I think seems like a good guy.
I rate him.
Yeah.
I rate him so much, and I don't know if you saw, he put out a statement recently, and he basically said, everyone's saying, oh, like how lucky is Cassie, and he's helped her, and he's basically gone, no, Cassie's helped Cassie. She's done this all herself. Like she's worked on herself and made this beautiful life with us. I can't remember word for word the statement, but it was a really nice statement. And it's so nice that he's just gone, no, you've done that. Like you've done that, because he's getting a lot of praise and a lot of people cussing him as well, which I just think, you fucking morons.
Yeah.
Like they're sitting there. I think it would probably, as a man, it's so difficult. Imagine hearing that your woman has had all of these things done to her by all of these different men and gone through all of this horrible shit. And then on top of that, then you've got men going, how are you going to allow a woman, how are you going to be with a woman that's done all of that? How are you get? And I'm just there like, how disgusting are you that you have this like thought of this guy that's just trying to be there for the woman that he loves, the mother of his child, his wife, you know what I mean, of his children.
What do you think?
I rate him.
Yeah, I proper rate him. I proper rate this guy, because I think that like, yeah, it wouldn't have been easy to hear about this stuff, whether it's in court or whether you are just at home, just talking or doing couple therapy or whatever it is. It's difficult, but I think I look at that difficulty from a different angle, like not because, oh, like she slept with this guy and she slept with that guy and whatever.
And
like, I look at that from that place of like, rah, like,
so
you know, like I love you,
yeah.
Like we've built something, and to know that you felt that. Do you know what? This is an example. I remember one time my mum told me that someone used to diss my mum for her knees back in the day, and my mum was telling me how it made her feel, and it made me feel something.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because I love my mum, innit? So when I'm hearing that and hearing how like upsetting that made my mum, it was more about that than it was about anything else. Do you get what I'm saying?
Men are saying it as if like,
it's
God, how are you going to be a man and know that your woman has done this hot nasty? And you just think, what is your male like? All right, cool. Maybe your ego is so fragile.
Do you know what it is? You see what the problem is, Tiggs, sometimes is that like men think about men too much.
Yeah.
Trust me. Men think about, and do you know what? Yeah.
I'll marry your boy then. You know,
do you know what it is as well? Yeah. When you unpack that, it's uncomfortable for some of them, you know, because really, this is about dick, you know. You know that?
Right,
a lot of this is about dick.
Yeah.
It's like, men get funny because it's like, oh, she encountered another dick, and you get what I'm saying, and that makes me feel that this is all about another man's dick.
Right.
Most men are thinking about other men's dick. No, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you slept with so and so. In his mind, it's another man's dicky. You get what I'm saying?
So
they just cannot, like, they're just so fragile when it comes to that type of stuff here. And it's like, you know what's so mad is that I hear all this conversation about Alex and this, that, and it's difficult, and I can't no, like, how was a man this and how was a man that? You see, for most of my life, most of my life, I have seen so much brothers, dealing with women a certain type of way. And do you know what they call them at the end of it? ride or die. That's a real
Right,
one.
yeah.
That's a real one.
Right.
This is a real one. These lot put this one woman for a whole bunch
thing.
of madness,
Yeah.
and then you're just saying, this is a real one.
Yeah.
So
Oh
now
my
on the other side now, when my man's being a real one, it's not the same anymore.
Right, yeah.
Do you
It's
get
like
what I'm saying? You're not looking at it the same. Do you know why? Because you're thinking about another man's
Right.
dick.
Yeah.
Instead of to say like this man is not thinking about another man's dick. Or
He's not
what has
thinking about
happened.
that.
He's thinking
her
about the fact
feelings.
that he loves her.
Yeah.
And she's a lovely, like, you know, they have a beautiful relationship and whatever it is. And he's focusing on the fact that she was in pain and she's overcome it, as opposed to worrying about, oh, but she did this while she was under abuse.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's actually crazy.
But do you know what? Do you know what the good thing is as well? Do you know what the good thing is? Yeah, the good thing is that thankfully you don't know what abuse is like.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thankfully you don't understand
you don't
it.
understand it. Yeah.
Thankfully
exactly.
you have never been in a situation, where you have been manipulated in such a way and had to go through something so traumatic. Because the reality is that a lot of us don't go through traumatic stuff like that. Yeah, we experience death, and that can be traumatic. So, you know, someone that you love or respect, whatever, they might die, people die suddenly, like that's a certain type of trauma. But see, when it comes to abuse and all of that, of course, people don't read about it because they don't have to.
Because it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, so it's exactly. And also, some people just don't have the mind open enough.
Yeah.
To
And
even
also they don't
begin
need to.
understand it.
Also, you know, if you don't need to, if you've been blessed enough that you haven't encountered these horrible things and you don't want to have that in your psyche, you don't have to.
You don't have to, yeah,
but
you
lucky you. But then don't pretend to be able to understand or comment on a situation where you really don't have the understanding.
Agreed.
Yeah, because people, this other narrative, why don't she just leave? Why don't she do that? She did, and she got
Dragged down the
She got
hallway.
dragged out in the hallway, and she did other things. And it's like, you can't even stand up to your freaking boss.
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
tells you
yeah.
to, when he tells you
exactly.
to, like,
Yeah.
for that paperwork
Yeah.
or whatever, but you want to talk about why didn't you leave this man with all this power that's funding your this and doing it, and that you love.
And you've encountered that level of evil. Most people, won't have to encounter that level of evil.
Yeah. We don't even know. Like, obviously, we've seen the what I have anyway. I've read the transcripts and watching all the stuff and whatever. But if people have seen anything, they might have just seen the video. But they're not watching this with the mindset of this is one time that is caught on camera. What about the times when doors was just locked? What about the times when it was just in his yard? What happened then? Do we think that this just happened this one day in the thing?
And it happened to be caught on camera, of course.
Happened to be exactly like this was happening all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, okay. There for some people there can be that nuance on or that grey area on the freak off element of it. I personally believe everything that she's saying in that sense. Call me naive, I just believe it, innit? Yeah.
Same.
Especially when when I watched the testimony or was reading the transcript, it made it even more certified for me. But it's like that's the part that I can see where some people may debate it, because sometimes people open up certain things to you, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but then some people just grow to just love it secretly and this, that, and the fourth or whatever, and then it ends up being a thing for them, and it's cool. But for me, I'm like, maybe there might have been a couple of points where it was cool, but you know what? Yeah, if you can do something 99 times, if at one point that woman says, I'm not really on that now, I don't really want to do that, then I don't really want to do that.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? In one of the times she said, I can't, can you just not bring Kim in?
Right.
I can't do this. Can you just can't we just bring somebody else in? That's what she's asking. Fatigued to bits.
Oh, it's so fucked.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
Crazy.
But though, it's gonna be more next week. Danity Kane, what's her name? Dawn Richardson from Danity Kane, and I can't remember the other one. They're testifying, and one of them has been talking about Diddy for time, about all of the abuse that she went through and this, that, and the fourth. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, man. Well,
See how it.
We'll
see how it ends. We'll definitely see how it ends. I just want to say this very quickly as well. Yeah, quick one for the culture and whatnot. Storms. I don't know if anyone's seen the new clip from Jack James.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Is this
That's
on?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even think it's out yet. Is it?
What's this?
It's like a new. Is it a new song?
It's a new song by Jack James.
With
Is it
Stormzy on it,
out? Yes,
like a
it
clip of it
is.
His verse.
Hold on. There it is.
Muscle memory, my hands around your neck, that's just my default. Our relationship hits the rocks, I'll get the speedboat. Your ex still run with lunch, but it's cool. I'll save it for our wedding day dumps. We'll reminisce about it when your belly has a bump. Pride was
I like him when he's in that little vibe.
Yeah.
I like it. It sounds sincere. Big up Stormzy. I want to hear more of that. Can't lie. I know that Stormzy got himself into a bit of pickle when he dropped the other verse the other day.
Sorry, Rach.
Sorry, Rach. Big up Rachel, by the way. I'll be honest as well. I didn't rate the McDonald's line. And the reason
I don't
why.
have any contact.
The reason why. So basically, he just dropped something called Sorry, Rach. This was at the time of the Met Gala.
Right.
Yeah. He's in front of a velvet burgundy kind of background, and he's just barring. He's just barring. He's just having some fun in it. But he then, just in a quick line, addressed that situation with the McDonald's thing. You know about that, right? Where he got 5 million for the McDonald's ad. Obviously, McDonald's was tied to the Israel thing, whatever else, yeah. And we talked about this on the pod. But this is the reason why. My reasoning for why I didn't rate the line is probably different for a lot of people, yeah? Because some people still have however they feel about the ad. The reason why I didn't rate the line is because when he did the McDonald's thing, we had found out the information that McDonald's had actually, in fact, bought back their franchise from the people that was giving out these nuggets to the Israeli soldiers, yeah? So, in fact, although people were boycotting McDonald's, remember, McDonald's is a franchise, so it's not just one person, it's a franchise. So it was a certain company that had these that was doing whatever. McDonald's had bought it back, so they don't own it anymore.
So they were essentially saying we're not co-signing that.
Yes, yeah, I guess so. So really what I was saying is at the time I felt like that should have been in some type of messaging so that it didn't look so bad. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's taken the 5 mil. In fact, it's not what it seems to be. If it's in some type of messaging, then people will know, okay, yeah, cool. Like he's standing on what he's standing on, and it's fine. He's taking the money, cool. Because McDonald's don't own it anymore. And also on top of that, could have been a salad. I stand by that. Could have been a salad. You know, he's on his health thing and whatever else. Like, it doesn't have to be nuggets. Could have been a salad. But I'm not begrudging him for that. I think it should have just been in the messaging. Cool though, because I had that information, I was like, yeah, get the money in my head. But I think in the bar, if you're addressing it, I think he should have, in my mind, articulated that.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying, oh, everyone's mad at me for a nugget meal, it's like, nah, you don't need to do that. In some way, in a bar, say something like, yo, something happened with McDonald's and whatever else, and then the franchise bought it back. When they bought it back, they flipped me back the 5 mil on it. Hit me with some of that.
Yeah, exactly.
In that, and then it don't look so bad. But people don't have the information. Then you just dismiss the anger by a McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell right. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't smell right.
Yeah.
But, so that's what kind of why I was like, yeah. But this thing here, big him up though. Big up Stormzy. Did the check-up with him as well at one point. I feel like Stormzy has done a lot of good for our community and us, and like, I'm not really on this Stormzy hate thing. I'm just not really on it. Like, I hear a lot of people have all of this stuff to say about him.
People always hate
and whatever, and I'm just like, it absolutely makes me sick, but I bite my tongue. Because I'm like, you know what? I can't be bothered I just can't even be bothered to get into it. But I just think, half of what people are saying on the narrative that they're trying to push and the way that they're trying to do it, I personally don't believe it.
Right.
I don't, innit? But luckily, I have an open enough mind. If I like something and it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not.
Opinions.
Anyways, thanks for coming and sitting down.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
What are you doing now? We're going to go get some food if you want to come.
Yeah, I could just do that actually. You got things to do as well. Yeah, big you up still. And we'll do it again. Next time we'll talk about some love and some
things that we generally talk about.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll dive into that.
Some
next
questions.
Time.
Some questions.
Or do you know what? I'll lead you. Lot can come in here and you lead it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Remember the time when because I talked about it before when you was like, oh, what was it you asked me about? We was talking about ghosting, and then I came on a pod and I talked about it, but obviously not with you.
There's a couple times where I'll listen to the pod and I'm like, he got that from our
yeah. That's actually happened a few times. We'll have a think.
Yeah, no, let's do it.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Yeah, love. Where's the thing?
No.
I want to take a picture.